G'day. The last time I was on a cruise ship was back in the 80s. But after 2 days, I was ready to jump ship in Vanuatu and fly back to Singapore. Well, 40 years later, things have changed a lot. And while you've probably seen an MSC Cruises logo at a Formula One track, after all, they are a global sponsor of Formula One, today I'm a guest of theirs on board the luxurious MSC Euribia in Doha, Qatar. Allow me to tell you a little bit about this ship. It is the 13th largest cruise ship in the world. It has 19 different decks, but no deck 17. Why? Well, it's a superstitious thing. There are 2,419 cabins, number of guests, just over 6,300, and crew member numbers, about 1,700. And have a look at this artwork on the hull. This is done by artist Alex Flamig, and it is most impressive. Food is such an important part of any holiday, and on board a cruise ship I think it's even amplified. So you have a choice on board MSC Euribia of 10 different restaurants, and if you're thirsty, 21 different bars. And these outlets range from casual to fine dining. So today I'm having teppanyaki here in Kato, and I have no idea what the guys have ordered, but we're about to find out, and I have no doubt that I'll enjoy it because I love Japanese food.
Welcome to Teppanyaki restaurant.
So we started with some fried rice, and it was an impressive show. As teppanyaki is, it's very much about the theatre of food, something that this cruise ship is big on. There's good fried rice, there's no doubt. And next up, I picked the Wagyu steak. Now, I'm recording this the day after the Qatar Grand Prix, which was quite an action-packed race. In fact, a number of guests on board were taken on an excursion to the Qatar Grand Prix as part of MSC's partnership with F1. This also included a Q&A with Sky commentator and Ferrari ambassador Mark Chenet, hosted by my good self. It's great to see so many people here decked out in your Formula One kit. And Mark, I'm keen to hear your take on the season so far.
A season like this one, whereby there's been 7 different winners, it's really a very open and exciting championship. And this is the first time in many, many years that we have 4 teams that are dominating Formula One or are winning in Formula One, and that is something really great for the fans.
Just love Ferrari, love Formula One, and can't wait to get there.
It's awesome to see you, and to go and have the F1 experience. It'll be fantastic, I think.
We were on a cruise in Japan in the middle of the year when Oscar won his first race, and she was on the same cruise, believe it or not. So yeah, lovely lady.
And I can tell you that they have a ship that will be at the Monaco Grand Prix in 2025. I think it would be amazing to stay on a ship with all of this food and great accommodation and social life, and then just head out to the track each day for the sessions. Because finding a hotel room that close to the track in Monaco is almost impossible. So that's where I think the cruise lines who have managed to get positions in the harbour or just off the harbour would be just so popular. I've only ever given one 10 out of 10 rating on my food reviews, and it was before I even started doing them on YouTube, and that was for a Wagyu steak I had in Japan with the man behind this camera, my son Jace. So I'll be keen to see how this one stacks up against that, but that was a lofty standard, and once you give something a 10, obviously, you can't give anything else better than a 10. A5 Wagyu steak cooked medium rare. So let's take a mouthful here. I'm going to use this dipping sauce. I love sauces. Very buttery steak, 9.1. And if you're wondering how the food works in terms of what's included in your package, it just depends. You can tailor a package so it includes all of these high-end restaurants or none of them. It's up to you.
Thank you so much for coming to Teppanyaki. It's my heart for you, my heart beating.
And just outside the teppanyaki restaurant, you'll find a delightful sushi bar. Now, if you're on board MSC Euribia for probably a week, you're going to be looking for things to do. You'll spend some time in this spa. Have a look at this. Interested in a dark sensory steam bath, perhaps? 37 Celsius, about 100 Fahrenheit. Stunning. Interesting room, this one. It says Harmonic Vibes Relaxing. And I'm relaxing. Oh, it's quite hot in the sauna. Of course, I'm not ideally dressed for it. But you come out of a sauna. Over here, there's an ice area. And behind the camera here, a classical Finnish sauna. And of course there are a number of treatment rooms in here where you can have a massage like the one I'm having now. And a tanning salon. And a dry flotation experience. Now you can pay to use the thermal room per day. The treatments, there is a fee for those. And then on top of that, there's this beautiful boutique. There's a men's barber and a ladies' hair salon. And there's a nail salon and some seats for having a pedicure. Now I'm only on board for 2 half days, but if I was going to take a cruise on this ship, I'd be aiming for Yacht Club. Why? It's an exclusive VIP cruising experience. You have your own check-in here, you have your own elevators, even a butler, and with your pass in the normal lifts, when you scan to go to your floor, it'll bypass every other floor. It's those small touches, I think, that make this quite a remarkable product. There are just 103 cabins in the Yacht Club. That's what makes it exclusive. There's tea and coffee making in this room. Yes, there's a mini bar, a separated little lounge area, and impressively a larger balcony. And without a doubt, if I'm cruising, I want to have some connection to the outside world, and that's what having a balcony does. Of course, you can save quite a bit of money downstairs and get an inside cabin. And one of the beauties of that is it's perfectly pitch black, so you will not be woken up by any light straying into your room after a big night out. And to me, this is very much like a top-end hotel, albeit floating from one city to another. I think this is a great idea to have a separate upper-level cruising product inside a larger product. And whereas you'll probably need to book a restaurant for most of your evening meals in the general part of the ship, here there's a table reserved for you every night. You don't have to book, you just walk up there, you will always be guaranteed a seat in this most glorious restaurant, and have a look at the view. This is the top sail lounge. It is exclusively for Yacht Club guests. I think if I was on this ship, I'd spend a lot of my time sitting up here, lounging on this couch, looking where we're going rather than where we've been.
Hey Sir Kim, how are you?
Excellent.
A glass of champagne for you.
Oh, you're a gentleman. Well, it's just after lunchtime, so I think it's only fair that I accept the kind offer of a glass of champagne. This is Nicholas. I'm not even going to pronounce the last name in French, I'll embarrass myself, but I often get this served to me in business class or first class on great airlines. Whereas some areas of this ship are quite vibrant and pumpy and you get a real good buzz from. Here, this reminds me of a high-end lounge in a 5-star hotel. There's so much space in here, and I'm sure it fills up at night. But middle of the day, on a day when people are out in the town viewing, this is a great place to either lounge or come down and work. But once you're done making your money in the lounge, there are plenty of places on board where you can spend it. If you head to deck 7, you'll find an impressive casino. It's closed when the ship's docked, but while at sea you can enjoy a flutter on the slot machines or have a crack at roulette, blackjack or any of the other table games. You're a chocolate lover, yeah? Who isn't? You can customise your own chocolate here at Jean-Philippe. It's quite luxurious and a very big store on board for chocolate. I guess if you're cruising, you're spoiling yourself, this is one area you're probably going to visit. And this is made entirely of chocolate. Impressive, but I don't think I could eat it all in one sitting. And if you're after a high-end watch, get it at sea. Look at the brands they have here. If you've ever watched one of my wine reviews on board an aircraft, you'll know that I've got scant idea about wines. But if you are a wine lover, this is the Ilios wine bar, and it's all self-service, which I love. Plus, you've got this interactive display down here, which tells you all about the wines. And why can't I show you now? Because we're at port, and as such, this bar is closed. But if you're at sea, you'll be down here pressing buttons left, right, and centre, or talking to the sommelier.
Guests come here to explore, learn. You can go around the world in 7 days when it comes to wine.
And are these included in the price of your cruise? No, you would need to get a drinks package, and there are 3 different options for you to choose from, depending on how thirsty you are and how refined your palate is. If you're keen for a bevy in a typical British pub, you'll no doubt end up here in the Master of the Seas. And for you beer drinkers, great selection on tap here, F1 sponsor, son's favourite drink. And if you don't want draft, there's plenty of bottles. And I fear some of you may get tired of the constant greetings you receive from the crew. They are just so happy. I rarely see that in my travels. We're here on deck 13 and we're going to have a look at a cabin. Well, this is cabin 173 on the 13th deck. It's positioned in the middle of the ship and has a beautiful view out here, your own private balcony. The bathroom's compact, reminds me of the Japanese media hotel that we use in Suzuka when we're there for the F1 race. If you have kids or you're just a big kid yourself, you'll have a bit of fun here in the Sportsplex. And there is carnival games, yes, but there's also 10-pin bowling. Given that MSC is a major sponsor of Formula One, it's apt that they have some simulators here on board for you to have a play on. Jesus, like a real F1 car. Jeepers! Jesus, yeah, I do need your help from that way. This one apparently is bigger. Jeez, I would not like to be an F1 driver if this is what it feels like. Bloody realistic. This is the XD interactive cinema. It's a lavish seat with a gun. Bring it on. That is very realistic. Kids are going to love that. And given the decadence of cruising and the eating and drinking that no doubt goes on, you probably need to get yourself a little bit of exercise, and there's a magnificent gym with a great view here. So I'm up on the one pool section here on the 19th deck. There's a buffet out here that you can feast on until 3:30, and then it changes to a whole lot of sweet treats. And I'm told to try the mozzarella balls because they're made on the ship. That is quality, absolute quality. Well done for the mozzarella balls. These are excellent. What I like about the size of this ship is the size of the ship, because if I was out at sea, I'd want something that's immensely stable. And this is immensely stable. Of course, here in the port, there's no movement whatsoever. It feels like an office building. But once at sea, a ship this size is always going to be more stable than a smaller one. There are 4 separate pool areas on the ship. You've already seen the one at the Yacht Club. This is a second one, which is indoors, but it can be outdoors because the roof retracts. And then you've got the main pool deck, and it is pumping out here today. And it's not that hot either. A mild day by Doha standards, about 26 degrees. On deck 16, there's a track you can walk or run off any calories that can add up on a high-end cruise. And there's one final small pool at the aft of the ship. This is the adults area, ideal for those wanting to have a quick dip or worship the sun. If you come up to deck 19 and go to the aft of the ship, or the aft if you're American, you'll find this water park, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. In fact, I sent one of the youngsters down here with my camera on the slide. And there's also an adventure course if you're so inclined. As you know, I stay in some pretty nice hotels around the world, but none have a staircase like this. This is the promenade, by the way, and for me, it gives me very much Las Vegas vibes. When MSC invited me on board, I initially had the thought of my trip going back to the early 80s, but this is so far removed. And you don't need me to tell you it's luxurious, because the pictures do that for you. And interestingly, I get a bit of US influence, and then I get a bit of European influence. But when you look at this decor, there's so much effort gone into this. And you won't be able to tell, but they have a scent on board. It's their exclusive scent, and it's something that I do come across in a number of high-end hotels and even fashion boutiques. It's a nice touch. Have a look at this, a very impressive theatre which has a different grand scale show every night. Oh, and there's a nightclub which, despite me spending some 9 hours on board this ship, I didn't get to see. My first thought when I came on board here was, would I last 7 days? Would I get bored? And I don't think I would. There's too much on offer with 10 restaurants and 21 bars, plus on this cruise, which is a 7-nighter, there's Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Bahrain and Doha, plus an island. That doesn't leave a great deal of time left to do everything perhaps I would want to do on board a ship like this. And you don't even have to pack and unpack yourself, because on board here there's a butler service. I like that idea a lot. Oh, and MSC will points match or status match with other cruise lines. Now, I put a link to MSC's website in the description below, and by all means go and have a look. If you've enjoyed this video, now please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done so as yet. And for a whole lot of extra stuff, check out this. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate!
Oh, I put my foot through the brake.